today? Give us some thumbs up. All right, look, lovely people up for it. We're going to get the recording done. We're going to be going live in the Facebook group. Today, day 4 of the challenge, the penultimate day, my pedigree chums, and it's a great day. It's the nudge day. So let me just jump into the presentation and jump into it. Like always, we're going to try and only have me kind of rabbiting on for half an hour of today, and then they give you half an hour to actually do the actions after this session. But I will be sticking around for Q&A for anybody who wants to ask any more specifics today. Right, so day 4 of the challenge, here we go. So yesterday we covered this bit around Calendly and actually optimizing that and preceding your credibility before the meeting. Really, really nice. A lot of people were saying to me, oh, they hadn't really dived into Calendly since they first set it up. And actually by thinking about it a little bit better and using the tool to its full capacity, they can see the benefit of that coming out. So thank you for that feedback, and do get your Calendly sorted, because obviously that helps us to push people down the funnel. Cool. Okay, so day 3 actions with this. So set up your Calendly like a ninja, Wah! Write your pre-meeting value email. So that was the template that we shared. And then hit the 100 club using your B or just hit your 100 club using the same message for the 80 first degree connections. Cool. Right. So this was one here. So have we got Laura? Laura, are you on the call? Laura, you're on the call? I think I saw Laura on the call. Let me just have a look.
She's on the train. She's just put a message in the chat. She's on the train on the way back from a flight from the USA, so she's probably not. Oh, she's there.
Okay, cool. Well, Laura, if you can speak, great. If you can't, I will just celebrate with you. So she hit the 100 club and had further 10 calls requested. So that's 13 after 2 days. Whoop, 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 whoop. Well done. So great results, and Serena was just sharing her fantastic results as well. This is a good chance if anybody else also has seen something, or who got their 100 club done. Yes, okay, so we got some hands up. Get his hands up. Who's got some appointments in the diary off the back of the work? So Brad's in there, Gavin's in there, fantastic. Francois in there as well. Francois, so talk to me about yours. Good to see you, mate.
Hi, hello everybody. Yes, I mean, what I've done, I actually invited people to, since Monday, to a webinar I'm doing today, yeah? Because, I mean, for me, the challenge is that, I didn't want to book call with people I didn't really know. I like to qualify them and them to spend time with me. So, yeah, I mean, since Monday, I got 8 people who said yes to the webinar. I mean, what I do, I don't push it down the throat. I send them a message. I don't want to waste your time and all this. I'm doing a webinar, in 3 days. Would you be interested? Would you like an invite? And then, yeah, I think 7 or 8 people said yes. And then I follow up by sending another message with my scorecard. So, just to nudge them a bit, or if they don't make it to the webinar, at least there's an opportunity they might take the scorecard. So yeah, it works. The only question I'll have, Richard, because I've been, obviously, I know you a little bit, I've been following you for a little bit, and your advice is great. But what I realized, it doesn't matter how many numbers I do, I always get the same return of investment. So I always get around 5 to 6% response. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So if in terms of response, yeah, I have to say I received as well around 10 no, which is fine. Yeah. So people replying, no, I'm interested, I'm not interested, or we're not looking at rebranding and all this. But what I realized, it doesn't seem to change. Regardless of a number, I always get between 5 to 7% response, which is strange.
That is strange. Well, it's not really strange. I mean, that's just good data. We like that 5 to 7 results. It just tells us that we're going to get some responses. So let's just make sure that we got a rhythm of this stuff's going out. So if you can be sending, and if I show you the system that we've got today, where we're looking at 160 first degrees a day. Now, I'm going to give you a nudge, right? So the nudge we find gets the extra juice from the squeeze. So I would challenge that 5 to 7% with this nudge to see if we can actually increase that to 10 to 12%. So today is about actually getting a higher response rate. So that will really play into it. But maybe delighted. I mean, I'll be delighted with 5 to 7%. Why not? Just get more out. That's it. That's just telling you it's a volume play. And so let's increase the volume. like that way.
Thank
And
you.
also don't be afraid to get them straight into a meeting with you, because if remember we're talking about that qualifying questions. So if they are not right for you, if they've answered those qualifying questions on the Calendly, you can then unqualify them. That was what a lot of that session that we did yesterday was about, actually helping you to not waste time in those meetings and only speak to the right people. So I'm in there, but mate, I'm delighted. So it's great. 8 responses. They're really pleased with that. And thank you, by the way, for the guys that are sharing it in the Calendly in the chat as well. So David saying 100, did yes to the 100 club and 3 calls booked. Love it. Okay, good stuff. Right, let's just jump into this. And Brad saying there in the chat, 5% is great, and I agree. In there, so cool. So actions from yesterday was good. And thank you for the feedback on that front. So today we're going to be doing the LinkedIn Nudge campaign, and we're going to be talking about the LinkedIn Outreach dashboard. So I'm going to be giving you a dashboard to be able to manage this, because as a few of you alluded to the last few days, you're like, how can I manage all this craziness? Today is that day. Right, good. So the nudge campaign is this piece at the bottom that we talk about. So we've done the outreach campaign. We're now going to go into the nudge. This is organically, if we are doing this stuff to sell, how we set up this campaign. Okay, so this is how you approach the 100 club. This is a very important slide. Take a screenshot of it. I can obviously circulate this around as an image. This is your weekly rhythm, right? So you've got your open and your nudge. Okay, so we've been doing open and we're just running one day late in this, right? So just so you know, because we spent Monday writing, but on a typical week, next week, on Monday, you're going to be doing your 80 first degree connections and 20 connection requests, your 100 club. On Tuesday, you're going to do exactly the same thing. Now, Serena and anybody else that wanted to A/B test, this is where it comes in. Monday, you would do outreach message A, so one variation. And then Tuesday, you'd do outreach message B, which would be a second variation. So if you wanted to A/B test, you can do that. I'm going to just keep it nice and simple and just say, hit your 100 club, right? So we should now know what our 100 club looks like: 20 connection requests, 80 first degree connections, right? So Wednesday, we then have a break and we just do our 20 connection requests. Okay, so you're just always, every day is a 20 connection requests because you want to hit your 100 a day, right? So it's a nice rhythm. Then Thursday, we're going to nudge Monday, and Friday, we're going to nudge Tuesday. So your entire first degree connection outreach in a week is actually only 160 messages. Now, this is quite exciting because when you start to look at what your low hanging fruit was, do you remember we did that search and we looked at who was our first degree connections? What it means is that we can actually start to see what our runway is for our outreach and what our runway is for this outreach message. Let me just kind of show you, right? So if you were going to be doing your search and you'd be going on to LinkedIn, which is not that, let me just find, for once, I actually don't have LinkedIn up. Okay, so LinkedIn. So you'll be going on to LinkedIn, and just as it loads up, we'll be doing our search, right? So let's just go back to our coach plus speak. Hang on, I've probably got it in here, haven't I? There you go. Coach plus speaker. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. How dare you? Speaker plus UK, right? So that was one of the searches we do. In fact, I'm just going to make it really nice and easy for me. Actually, I'm just going to go coach plus UK because we want to demonstrate a decent runway here, right? So coach plus UK, right? So these are all the coaches that I'm connected with. We will go on to people here, and we want to go on to connections and first degree, right? So this is how we see our low hanging fruit, 761 people, right? So for me, I've got 761 people in this first degree connection campaign that I can go out to. So if I divide that, that's a 9, 761, and we're going to divide that by 160 connections a week, right? Makes sense, yeah? Because 2 times 8, two 80s, so that's 2 opens equals 160. So that means I've got 4.7 weeks, basically 5 weeks worth of runway for this campaign. So in 5 weeks' time, I then need to come up with another DM campaign, right? And so that message will be different. Now, that could be for a slightly different objective. So Francois was talking about getting people onto a webinar, right? So we went straight to the point with this campaign. So next campaign, we could set up a little webinar. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I clicked on there. And so we could be setting up a webinar with the next campaign and inviting people along to that. And so we would then have 5 weeks worth of invites to that webinar. So we'd maybe set up a webinar for a month away and we would go and hit them up with that, right? But the hope is, because we've been doing those 20 connection requests every single day, that our runway extends. So we hope that we get 6, maybe 7 weeks worth of runway in the next DM campaign, right? And then we go round and do it again. And then we're hoping that our runway has gone to maybe, 10 weeks, right? And so what happens, it means that you don't hit people up so frequently, which is good, because we don't want to be keep on hitting, DMing them all the time. But it means that you can have this as an always on strategy, and you can always be campaigning, right? So what would be the next one after that? Well, maybe you've produced a scorecard, because a few of the people here were talking about scorecard. So you run a scorecard campaign. Then we think about, well, maybe I'm doing a white paper, and I produced a white paper or some sort of mini course or some sort of 5-day challenge, and bam, you kind of loop round. Okay. So it doesn't always have to be straight to the point, and it doesn't have to be as blunt. It could be nice and short to say, hey, I've got a 5-day challenge coming up. I think you'd be great for it. Would you like to come along? Right. Can you see how this allows you to keep into your DM quest and to not just have a nice little kind of success on this 5-day challenge with Richard, but then your first degree connections are done and you have to kind of step away from them. It's about actually having a way of continuing this success and continuing ways of drawing people from LinkedIn into somewhere you control. So you take people from LinkedIn into your database to then be able to pursue them further, to be able to get them into meetings, into webinars, into 5-day challenges. Does this make sense? Cool, right? So let me just share this. So it means that you can actually work out where your runway is. Now, a lot of people that I speak to, just making sure I'm going on to the right one, will say, well, they've got such a small first degree connection, and that is cool. You don't have to come off the back of this campaign and roll straight into another one. If you want to give your first degrees a break for a few weeks, you can do as well, right? So just remember that you've got that flexibility in this system. So open, and then just connection, nudge, nudge, right? And then you can see what your runway is. So the nudge template is this, gang, right? So we're going to be going back out to our people and just saying, look, just bubbling this up to the surface. So I know these things get lost all the time. Let me know if there's a good time to speak next week. Does Thursday afternoon work? Right? Because we're just being specific. Okay. This shows you are serious about actually meeting with them next week, and you're keen. You've messaged them twice in 1 week and you are still talking about the same objective. I've got this call. I'd love to have a call next week. Right. Let me just put this into, oh, hello. I'm just going to take that text and put it into the chat for you all. So you can do it. Now you can edit this, change this, make it your version. Bam, there you go. So just bubbling this up to the surface. And let me just stick it into the Facebook group as well. Where's that Facebook? No, where's my live? Here it is. Cool. And that's going on the live there for anybody watching this on the live. There you go. Fantastico. Okay, so just bubbling this up to the surface because we want to show we are keen, and we know that people's inboxes get hammered, right? So you are just showing that you're really interested. Let me know when there's a good time. And you can see how we've gone, does Thursday work? Because we're trying to angle it. If they say no, Thursday doesn't work, Friday works, great, no worries. Okay, so you are really pursuing that meeting. Cool. So your session today is that you are going to go after those people from your first set of 80. Okay. There's no break today. You don't have your Wednesday break as you would do in a normal week. We are literally going to be going to nudge the people on Tuesday that you went out to today. And then on tomorrow, we're going to be nudging the people you went out yesterday with the 80. Okay. And you're still going to do your 20 connection requests. Make sense? Cool. So part 2 of today is around this magic man, which is Peter Drucker. Now, he was a management consultant, turn of the century, and he had this fantastic mantra about what gets measured gets managed, right? And I kind of love to think of it more of as a what gets measured gets improved. I really think, if you're seeing the numbers and you're measuring how you're putting this outreach and the responses that you're getting, then you will tweak and change the message and see what's working, and also ultimately manage anybody that you outsource to do this for you, right? So to help you, we have created this Google Sheet, and I'm going to be giving this to you as a template. So when you get this template, I'm going to stick it in the chat. You go to File, Copy, and you make yourself a copy of this. Okay, so I'm putting this into the chat now, and I'm going to explain it. So it's gone into the chat now, going into Facebook chat now as well. You can see there, so the link is in there, right? So you would simply go onto this link here, and this takes you to the dashboard. Okay, so tab 1 of the dashboards, just to reiterate to you guys, is about how to make a copy. So if you just, it should be coming up, especially there you go. So literally you can see here, tab 1 talks about that. So you go to File, make a copy, you make yourself a copy of this, right? The center tab is where it's all at. And we're going to go through these numbers and we'll be discussing this, okay? This right-hand tab is don't delete it. These are the weeks. Now, when you get to 2023, it means that you can just extend these weeks out and drag them down, and then you can populate the weeks that you'll see here on the left-hand side. So it just means that your spreadsheet, you can use this to keep your spreadsheet nice, right? So you got the monthly in here. So the monthly data, and then the weekly. The weekly is the important piece. And if I just scroll down to where we are, so we are in this November bit, we're end of the year. So I've actually plotted in a few targets for you in here, right? So you can see here, new connection requests. So each week, as you're going through this, so each day, if you've done 20, you can go and plot that in, right? The following day, if you've then done another 20, you just plot it in as 40, right? So you can start to see how you are appealing against the blue line, which is the target, because we want to do 100 connection requests a week, right? So you just use this to plot in your connections, okay? You can then see first degree messages, right? So these are your 80. So you can see here, I've got a first degree target of 160. So you can go in and then you can do your 80. Once you've done that, you can then plot in your other 80, you hit your target 160. Then you can start to see, right, how many positive replies did I get? Did I get 3 positive replies? Awesome. Of those positive replies, how many strategy sessions did I get booked? So I got 2 strategy sessions booked. Fantastic. I'm targeting 3 strategy sessions. Why am I targeting 3 strategy sessions? Because a 3-to-1 close ratio, we're hoping to try and achieve 4 sales for you by the end of the year, right? So that's kind of the game plan. If you start getting these strategy sessions, these meetings in at the start, then you should start to be paying yield and you should start to do deals by the end of the year. So that's the idea behind it, right? So you can plot these in, and then things like decision calls. By the way, what is a decision call? We covered it a little bit off in our strategy session at 12:30 today. But ultimately, if you're doing a strategy session, you present your product to someone, and then if they want to book a final call just to actually make a decision, then you can plot that in, and they can make a decision on the back of it, right? So decision calls you might have. So you might have 3 strategy sessions, 2 of them got to decision call, and then 1 of them became a sale, right? And you plot those numbers in week by week, target by target. And of course, if you then change your target, so you change to, say, what Francois was doing, you could always add in another column to be able to say something like, so let me just insert a column. You could insert a column and call it, webinar bookings, right? And you can start tracking webinar bookings. So it just allows you, let me just lose that column before everything goes kaput, delete column. It allows you to work your campaigns and monitor your campaigns and understand how the activity, what you put in on the left-hand side, is actually delivering for you on the right-hand side. we call this the when we're working with our clients, we talk about having an RTM dashboard, reporting targets and management dashboard. So by actually having a dashboard like this, it means that one, you can report on how you're doing. Two, you can give targets to the activity you're doing. And ultimately, if you give this to someone in your team, like a VA to do for you, ultimately, further down the line, then the dashboard is the person that manages, or the thing that manages the person, because you're telling them, here's how you win the game. You win the game by hitting these targets here, and getting me to the strategy sessions. And then if you're the person taking the strategy sessions, then you are responsible for hitting these targets, right? And as a team, you've got to make sure that they're giving you the best type of leads to be able to actually make this stuff work, right? So I'm zeroing these for you now. So jump into this, make yourself a copy, change any of these targets if that's what you want to do, and just start delivering. Just start delivering against this spreadsheet. So look, some people I know some people will look at a spreadsheet and go, spreadsheet. And I get it. I do get it, because it is methodical and it is process. But methodical and process is how you scale. Genuinely, it's the only way I know. Every single business that I have has been run from an RTM dashboard. Seeing something that maybe just is like a Google sheet and simple sometimes actually demystifies the kind of secret sauce that everybody talks about in terms of tracking. It is a spreadsheet. You just plug some numbers in. It's that simple, but it keeps your mind attuned to what needs to be done. And also it rewards you to be able to go, I put a little, I've done my 20 today, I've done my 80 today. Bam, I've plugged it in. If you don't quite get it done, or you don't have quite enough numbers, the spreadsheet will show, and then the results will show off the back of it. Cool. Okay, so that, my friends, is one of the real important parts just to finish off the way this works. So remember, we've got this important way process on doing things. So your openers, Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, your nudges. And we've got that. So recap on this. So today's actions, your LinkedIn nudge campaign to your first outreach. We're going to be sending the 80, or everybody you sent. Okay. You're going to then send another 20. Oh, by the way, when people say, well, how do I know that? Sorry, this is a really important thing. When you're nudging, people go, well, how do I know which ones were on Monday, etc.? It is as simple as just going to your connection to your messages and going by date order. So you can see here, I can scroll down and I can find everybody that I messaged on the 2nd of November. And I just go through all of those people and I nudge all of those people. That's as simple as that. It won't be, for my instance, it will be the 1st of November. So there you go. So the 1st of November is the people that you're nudging today, because that was Tuesday. So you go through 1st November. Look, you can actually see that this is working, right? Look, just bubbling this invitation to the top of your inbox, right? So that is one of my nudges, because you can see here was, and you guys, some of you will be here because of this. This was my campaign. We talked about different campaigns. I wasn't doing straight to the point because I was running this 5-day challenge. So this was my campaign. Hi, it's me. I've got this exciting free challenge. I'd love you to come. And then my nudge on Tuesday was just bubbling this invite up. And in fact, on Tuesday, that's where we paused this campaign, because obviously we're into the challenge now. So you can see that I'm nudging just like I'm expecting you guys to nudge. Lovely jubbly, right? Okay, lovely nudgely. So that's the game plan. So fill out your LinkedIn outreach dashboard. Send out your 20 connections, send out your 80 nudges. That is the actions. And I'm going to put a post up like this in the group that says, are you on the board and did you make it to the 100 club? So I'd love you to be able to put your comments below on that. Lovely. That, my friends, is end of official presentation today. I told you it'd be past. Going to go into Q&A now and to be able to take further questions. If you are diving off, fantastic to see you. Do jump in and hit your 100 club. And tomorrow we'll be doing the final piece of the pie, which is getting into the strategy session. So we're actually doing a little bit of sales training tomorrow. And then I'll also be presenting the $1 Million Sprint further for anybody who wants to stick around and hear that demo tomorrow after the session. Great. Okay, so if you're shooting off, good to see you. But Serena, I think you had a hand up for your first question, and then I think Jude, if you you're either waving or you got a second question. So, Serena, over to you.
Thank you, Richard. So the first question is, I have a couple of them who have replied, "Oh, can you send me more info?" Following from the first message, you know. So obviously, if they're asking for more info, I don't feel it is appropriate to go straight in with or book a call, or should I? Maybe that is still the follow-up message is, why don't we jump on a call and we'll talk more about it? Or should I just send them something and what that could be?
I think you continue to pursue the call, but you give them something. So what you can say is that the best way for me to really understand more about you and to add value is to jump on a call with you. But just as a quick outline, this is what we'll do on the call. You know, so so when they're saying send me more info, I would try and hold off on sending them a big like, here's my program, because they're basically making a decision if they want to buy from you based upon a PDF, and that's not what we want to achieve. So I would then send them some info and say, hey, what we'll do in our meeting is we'll talk about this, we'll look at this, we'll give you a report at the end of it about this, this, and this. So you're kind of going circumnavigating their retort by just saying, by giving them more information about what the meeting's about, because the only purpose at the moment, the only objective is booking that meeting. It's the only thing you've asked for. You haven't asked them to get their credit card out. You've just asked them to have a chat.
Great, fantastic. And then my next question was this dashboard that you've just showed us. Do you fill it in daily or do you fill it in weekly at the end of the week once you've completed kind of the runs for the week, essentially? What's your suggestion on that?
I would fill it in daily.
Every day you go in and top up the number.
Exactly. Because you know, you get replies and responses, and as you get them, as you were listing them out just then, you've got like 4 or 5 replies. So you're like, great, add 4 into the column there. If you happen to go back at the end of the week, what you might miss some, do you know what I mean? It's just, and there's something about habits and creating habits. So you do the work, you spend you do your $1 million hour, you get out the LinkedIn outreach, you then go, great, I've done everything I need to do today, fill in the sheet, done. Kind of mentally left it on the where it is, and then you don't need to touch it again until tomorrow when you loop back in and check out, see all these lovely replies, and start to communicate with people again.
And then final question, sorry, I'm being greedy. Do you see the benefit of actually adding on Trello the individual person, that has replied or like to track the individuals?
As in, so you're using Trello as a CRM
to track leads? Yes, correct.
Yeah, I think if they are a lead, i.e. they've come back and they've gone, oh, that's interesting, I'd love some more information, I think they're good to add in. Definitely. I think that there's a slight, time you qualify people, and you'll have a gut instinct if they're worth putting up on there, for sure. So I'd be adding them in, particularly if they're then starting to say, could you send me further info? You say, great, what's your email address? I'll send something over. Bam, you've now got their email. So that's worth then adding them in, because you can get them into your email marketing sequences and stuff then. So yeah, we'd be tracking positive replies.
Right, thank you.
No worries, great stuff. Asa.
Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
This week I'm a little bit behind, but I have 2 questions, if you don't mind. Let's say that Monday, first degree connections, we nudged on Thursday and they didn't respond again. So next week, are we again sending nudging, or do we send an email providing a little bit value? It can be a piece of information about services or a journal, something adding value, and then after asking again. So what are we doing if they don't respond?
If they don't respond, we leave them until we go back round on another cycle. So you've got 2 opportunities. So you're going to hit them up with a DM, and then you're going to nudge them, and then you're not going to talk to them if they don't talk back to you. You're just going to move on. and you just wait until you finished all of your first degree connections. You finish that cycle, you then come up with the next campaign, and then you DM and follow the process. You'll get them in the end.
In the end, or the next campaign. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Otherwise,
And
what
now-
happens? You just over communicate.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that is what I'm scared. I don't want to be pushy. I don't like it myself. So my second question is, can we run two campaigns at the same time? One is, let's say, for webinar, one is one-to-one coaching. So can we divide this 80 into two campaigns?
I would just be focusing on one and then looping back round to the next one. You know, so a year is a long time, right? And in the year, you can be running, you know, a scorecard campaign, a webinar campaign, a straight to the point campaign, and just give the campaign space to be able to work, and also give yourself focus, and just work that until it's worked, and then loop back around and start the next one. I always start with straight to the point, by the way, because it has the best yield in terms of getting people straight into meetings, you know, so that's the ultimate goal. When you then, because it's nice, and it's a hard straight to the point message, so the next one is quite nice to do, like a webinar or something, thought leadership or something, because that's then softer, because it means if they didn't react well or didn't respond to the straight to the point, something else that's a little bit more value driven is quite nice to follow it. So you kind of ebb and flow like a real kind of salesy one, and then you could pull back out again and you do something a little bit more value driven, and maybe you do that for a couple of cycles, and then you can go straight into do another straight to the point, because straight to the point you can do multiple times, right? You just kind of tweak the messaging.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, last question. If it is webinar, are we saying inviting to a call during the webinar or after the webinar? Because there are many different opinions, and I don't know.
Are we just ask the question again? So where
we are having, yeah, are we, if we are having a webinar, are we asking for a session, breakout session during the webinar or after the webinar?
So is this more like how to host a webinar?
No, we say that they said yes to the webinar, they attended to the webinar,
right?
And during the webinar, do we say that this is my Calendly, book a call, invite them, or after webinar we send private messages?
Okay, cool. Sorry, I just thought my mind was in LinkedIn, so it's right. I'm with you now. So I always, whenever we're doing some sort of cool value-driven stuff, I pitch the next step in the funnel. So in webinars, typically that will be, you know, come and book a strategy session with me. Could even be buy my stuff, right? So just think about it, make sure the webinar is structured in the right way, but then pitch hard the next step, because they've turned up. The next step is for them to do the next thing. Don't give value, then step away and not talk to them again. It's all about directing people to the next stage. And so in your webinar example, that should be to jump straight into your diary. If you look at my weekly moments, so when we do the marketing roundtable, I always offer the strategy session within that session, and I get bookings within that session, because it's, you know, people are there, they're interested, they take the bookings. It was like when I was talking about the strategy session as part of this on Tuesday, you would have seen that you know, I mentioned it and people booked into it on the call, because that's the time that people take action, is when they're currently taking action, is the best time to ask someone to take action into the next stage.
Thank you.
Cool. No worries. Gina, good to see you.
Thank you. And yeah, thanks for doing this. It's given me a little bit of a boost in the LinkedIn direction. So I've been working at building up my connections, and I'm really looking at, I'm after a forward-thinking company that is looking to really support their long-term sick people and possibly disabled people and stuff like that. Yeah. And people are connecting with me. So my initial connection is saying I'm interested in connecting with people that are in this field. So people are connecting with me, but then I tend to get cricket. So I've been doing this campaign, this idea, this straight to the point thing.
Yeah.
And I'm offering a free talk or workshop. And the only people that are coming back to me are the people that said, oh, I'm not working at this place anymore, I'm just moving somewhere else. So I'm sort of building gentle connections, which is all nice. And we've said, oh yeah, great, look forward to hearing about your new post and all that jazz, but doesn't really help me in the so I just wondered, because it's quite
I think it's quite committal, by the way. Like you are so the reason why straight to the point works is because it'll be something like, I'm looking to partner with these type of businesses to help them to do this type of stuff. Love to jump on a call with you next week to discuss, right? So it's like, it's kind of, if you're going, I want to find these type of businesses and I want to now come in and present to you for free, I'm like making a decision if that's appropriate. Whereas I would just roll back a bit and go, and I'd just love to have a chat with you, just a quick, call next week. And so I think that you're trying to go too far. Like, I think you're missing a step. So nobody is going to reply to you, say, Gina, yes, Thursday next week, is that okay to come and present?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
What
what
they do is say, maybe we should have a chat.
Well, I'm suggesting I've got a free talk, but then let's talk about it, rather than I said this is so it's almost like I'm offering something for you. Can we have a chat about it? Because obviously I'm not just going to go straight into a company because I don't know anything about them.
So that's what I guess that's what I'm saying. So if I would just clear out the kind of thing to then just go straight for a conversation, and you don't need to mention the talk. You just want to say, hey, I'm just looking to partner with organizations that have got long-term sick. We run different training. We'd love to have a chat with you next week to discuss it.
Okay. All right. Cheers.
And I know it sounds really counterintuitive, because you're trying to take the pressure off them to go, don't worry, I'm not going to flog you something. But the irony is it's actually making too many things happen in people's minds when they're scanning something. Whereas if you just sort of say, look, I'm the type of person that can help you with this sort of pain and love to have a call with you, then they're just kind of doing that binary, like yes or no in their minds. Versus going, oh, I'm not sure about the logistics of you coming in to do it. Do you know what I mean? And now they're thinking about.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So just feel free to share the thing into the Facebook group, your messaging, and I'll have a look at it for you this week. So if you share it, I'll have a look at it. Cool. Thanks, Gina. Brad.
Richard. If it's possible to do relatively quickly, could you just remind me what the format is of the decision call in that sales process?
Okay, so the nice thing about a decision call is it can take a pressure off a sales conversation. So normally a sales conversation, if you're doing a one-to-one strategy session, you're doing a, where are you now? Where do you want to be in 12 months from now? And then let me show you the way of how to get to that journey, right? So that's kind of the structure of it. Then at the end, you can say, look, this is the product. Apart from price, you've got any other questions? So you kind of, get the questions out, then you deliver the price, and then you can say, but look, I'm not looking for you to make a decision now. I'm not some big American guru that's trying to like close you on the call or whatever it is. Like, you can make a bit of a joke about it. But just so we both kind of know where we are, what I like to do is to book a call within the next 24 or 48 hours. So you can have time to think about it, but while it's still fresh in our minds, we can jump on that second call and have a discussion around it, right? So that decision call means that they are making a decision for that call, because time kills deals. And the longer a deal is left, the easier it is for that deal to die. And so you want to engineer a moment where they are thinking about your decision and making a decision for it. And so that's why we say within 24, 48 hours. And the reason why it's got to be within that time, you say, is because, you're getting old and senile, and, you want it to be all fresh in your mind. So it's a really productive meeting, but in reality, you want to keep the time short between those. And the decision call is literally a 20-minute call. So you start off the call in terms of structure of it, and you'll say, Brad, really thanks for jumping on this call. Let me just let me just know what I felt. So I thought the meeting was great. I saw that you have these 12 months goals, and you know, you could see how the process could work, and it was this, and we had these ideas, and I've got my notes are saying that you had this kind of thought process about it, and I got really excited. I think it's going to be a really good process. That's where I am. Where were you? And then you just shut up, and whatever happens is up to the gods from then on in. And they might say, yes, let's do it. They might say, no. They might be like, oh, there's still, you know, the dog needs to, you know, talk to me a little bit more about this, and you know, blah, 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 blah. And when you get to that middle ground where they're still like umming and erring, that's where you can overcome objections. So the overcoming objections, without really going into details, but most of the objections will be around time and price. Is kind of time, price, and authority, right? So authority is your fuck up, excuse my French. You basically pitch to the wrong person. So you need to get the right person onto the call and then do the strategy session again. So it's annoying, but you got to get them onto the call and do it. The time and money thing, essentially time stuff, you should be able to, in your pitch, be able to actually talk about, well, what's the time involved and stuff like that. So you make sure that you've pitched well on time. So you loop back to the points that you've made about time in the pitch, and to give some examples of why this doesn't take as much time as they think, etc. The money thing is that you go, well, look, apart from the money side, did everything that we mentioned today resonate? Would you do it if money was no objection, right? So if you can get the thumbs up from someone to say that they would do it if money was no objection, then it's just problem solving the money. And so you'll say things like, well, what about if we did some sort of payment plan? Or what if I gave you the first 30 days for free? Or what if I did something else, you know? So you overcome the money objection if you want to, you know. There's lots of people that I coach to say, look, if you know, if the money's the money, and if they can't afford it, then that's part of your qualifying process. You know, you shouldn't be taking on people that can't afford it, you know. So that's if you want to overcome the money piece. That's a very long-winded way of going through it, isn't it? But that's the point of the decision call. It is a,
yeah, I think that's really good, and I think it's a really important step to add in. So if you get the strategy session right and you position it correctly, and you don't create objections by using the wrong words or missing something out, or you know, so whatever we say or don't say gives the objection. But assuming that now and then either you'll have done that, or you've got somebody that is slow to make a decision or has made a pact that they're not going to decide today, and you haven't broken the pact up, then having that process where you say, look, you know, we will do this diarized meeting in 2 days, it draws a line under it, because otherwise you're into following and chasing, and you know, it starts to look as though you're either desperate or you know, that you've got all the time in the world to be chasing people who can't make a decision, which neither of those is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a great reminder of that process that you have, Richard. Thank you.
No worries. Good. I'm glad. I mean, there's lots of different ways of doing of closing it. There's that's the one-to-one. I like that way when you're doing one-to-one. When you're doing group, it's slightly different, right? So if you're trying to optimize your time and you're doing group strategy sessions, then what you do is you create a deal deadline. And so you then say, right, by Friday, this is the deal. And that's when you basically give them a really good offer, but they have to make a decision by a certain date. And then you can craft your follow-up through email, through text message, etc., to be able to do it. So that comes to the same conclusion without having to use a decision call, but it's the same thesis, which you need things to bring a decision. It is so much better for someone to say no than for them to say maybe forever. So whatever it is, you take the decision out of their hands. So if they book a decision call and they haven't made a decision, you can actually then decide, say, look, if you still haven't made a decision now, I'm gonna give you till the end of the week to come back to me on this, but I'm gonna stop chasing you. I'm gonna say it's a no after that, right? So that's where you can do a decision call. In the deal deadline, you can say by Friday the deal there, or the price goes up, and it genuinely you just put the price up after that. And so that model can work really well as well. Cool. I can stick. I've got a couple more minutes if anybody's got a further question. If not, we can close for the day. Oh, I can see a message in the chat, or is people just saying goodbye? Fantastic. I didn't quite get how the 5 weeks of a campaign works. What do we do with the 20? Okay, so when you're saying the 5 weeks, so that is purely, Laura, about, where have you gone, Laura? You're still there. Okay, good. Look, that's purely around the length of the runway. The 5 weeks is based upon your first degree connections. Hey, good to see you. See you on the trade. So it's only so it's only around that, and that's what. So if you've got, say, 1,000 people as your first degree connections that you're targeting, your runway won't be 5 weeks. It will be well, let me just do it. So 1,000 divided by 160 messages a week, because that's 2 days of 80, right? Because remember, we open for 2 days. Monday, Tuesday we open, and then Thursday, Friday we nudge the open. So it's only ever 160. So you had 1,000 people, you would have 6.5 weeks to be able to work, right? So then that your campaign becomes that. So it's an ever flexing runway of weeks that you can run this first degree connection before you need to change message and go again, because you've exhausted your first degrees. So that's the game plan in terms of how you're running that. Now the 20 is that's the 20 is a daily activity. So those are your connections. So you always, doesn't matter if you're not doing a campaign, you always do your 20 a day, or 100 a week, because you can do them in bulk if you want to, but it's nice to have a daily rhythm, right? So 20 a day, bam. So that you're always doing that, but you're only doing your Monday 80 open, Tuesday 80 open, and then Thursday nudge the Mondays, Friday nudge the Tuesdays. So you think you said, is that because you only nudge 80 at a time? Yeah, you only nudge a day at a time, right? So you just nudge the 80 on a Monday, on Thursday, and you just nudge the 80 on Tuesday. On Friday, you nudge the Tuesdays. And then next week, you then open up more and nudge more. Does that make sense? I know you're on a train. Give us a thumbs up if it does. Oh, no. No, it's still not there. It's still not there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, it's just, I understand that for the first week, but then the second week, who are the 80? Do you see what I mean?
So the 80 are just the next in the list. So if you've got 1,000, you've done 161 week, you then need to start at number 161 and do the next 80. Does that make sense?
And the people and the 20 every day,
yeah,
what happens to them?
They're the connection. They're just new people you're connecting with. So they are not first degrees, they are second or third degrees. Okay. You are trying to create a connection with them so they actually then join your network. So it means the next time you run a campaign, you should have more people as your first degrees. Cool.
No, that's it.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. It is a nice system. It's, I'll just share it one more time on the screen share. It is. Oh, hello. Why are we doing this? It is really nice. It does work, and you just simply have this rhythm: Monday, Tuesday, 100 club; Wednesday, just the 20 connections; Thursday, Friday, 100 club. But then the nudges, right? Cool. All right. Well, that's all I got to say about that. So I will bid you all farewell. Have a fantastic Thursday, and I will see you all on Friday for the final installment. Exciting stuff. Thank you all for jumping in, and we will catch you on the flip side. Cheers, guys. Bye. Bye-bye.